Yo, what's good, YouTube? It's your boy Moneyman Mock, aka Triple M. Welcome back once again to the Money Show. We got more Street Fighter ranked gameplay for y'all, and what I'm gonna do while this gameplay is playing in the background, we gonna touch base a little bit more on the state of Street Fighter and talk a little bit more about the tactics and the gameplay mechanics in depth, and give a little breakdown of how I kind of play the game and how I'm learning to adapt and adjust to the mechanics from playing previous Street Fighter games in the past. So hopefully y'all enjoyed the last video. I've been reading y'all comments and I love the opinions that y'all have, and I love interacting with y'all. So hopefully y'all keep on comments and keep on interacting with the videos, man, and I'll be sure to engage in some conversation. But without further ado, let's get into the gameplay. First of all, a lot of people, not even just you guys in the comments, but a lot of people in general, when speaking about Street Fighter 6, the main thing that comes up is the drive rush, drive impact system, which basically kind of leads into what's kind of known around the community as like guessing games and like a little mini game inside of the actual game. And that's an accurate depiction of what it is, basically. So allow me to explain. Basically, the drive rush system is there to act as another layer of skill, is what it's supposed to be, right? It's supposed to be there to act like another layer of in-depth thought and skill when it comes to the fighting game and deciding what move you're going to do and how you're going to do it. So it's there. It can be used as a reactive system. It can be used as an aggressive system. It's there to kind of initiate the combos and to also extend combos and to break combos. So a lot of people necessarily don't think it's good because of the fact that it removes a lot of the reaction away from fighting games. It removes a lot of the reactive impulse that you need to be able to, properly predict that your opponent is about to wake up with an attack, or properly predict what your opponent is about to do for his next move. And, instead of just traditionally blocking or playing great defense, for example, you can use it as a wake-up tool if someone's pressuring you, for example, and then you decide, instead of, waking up and doing a DP or waking up and playing defense, I'm just going to parry. And perfect parry is something that was also implemented along with the whole drive system. It's all a part of it. And perfect parry is used as a way to, ideally what it's supposed to do is used as a way to kind of just, counter an attack with perfect timing. But the way that it actually is used is a random mash button. You can literally just wake up tapping perfect parry, assuming that your opponent is about to attack, and get an automatic punish, automatic counter, automatic break from whatever your opponent is trying to set up with his offense. And where a lot of people get upset with that is, for the offensive player, it removes a lot of their ability to set up different combos. It removes a lot of their ability to establish their offense, because at any given moment, their opponent can perfect parry anything that they throw, whether it's low, high, air. Anything can get perfect parry. So the offensive player, while being aggressive on offense, has to think of it from a defensive mind state, understanding that even though I'm on offense and I have the right now to be the aggressor, I need to be cautious of what I throw out there, because I can be countered and put back on defense. So normally how it would go in, for example, old Street Fighter 4 days, normally how it would go is, if you're on offense, you have your turn. It's basically, you go back and forth. That's how the fighting games go. You have your turn to initiate offense. And when you're initiating offense, your other opponent has to play defense. And the way to counter offense is by playing defense, blocking, and waiting your turn, basically, or until they make a mistake to where they throw something out that's plus frame or something that can be countered, or if they whiff, then you would traditionally whiff punish. And that's the traditional state of fighting games when it comes to reaction based. You are playing based off of reaction, you're playing based off instinct, and you're playing based on the pattern of your opponent. But with the new system implicated, perfect parry by itself is literally all the defense you need at certain times. If you wake up and mash it right, or literally there are tons of people out there who use it to a T. And don't get me wrong, it is a skillful thing to do when you're timing all of these attacks to perfection, but it just removes the instincts. It removes the instinctive play of a fighting game. It removes the thought process. It removes the tactic behind it. Because really all you have to do is press one command, and that's your get out of jail free card. You know? Drive rush. Drive rush is something that I think is actually a good implementation, but I do think it gets exploited a lot. And I do think there needs to be tuning when it comes to how the drive gauge is handled and what moves expend the most drive gauge and what moves shouldn't expend as much. But I understand that's character based and all of that, so I don't really know what would be the fix for that, but I just think that's something that they can look at to be tuned. Drive gauge and drive rush, I think is good. I don't think it's horrible. I think it's good, and I think it's a great way to initiate offense and to extend combos and set up a lot of good things. But burnout is something that you always have to be cautious of, especially with certain characters. For example, you get burnt out quick, and with different characters, I don't know if it's the same for all characters across the board, but it surely doesn't feel like it. For different characters, your drive gauge comes back, at least it feels like to me, your drive gauge comes back a lot slower than others. Like, I play Ryu a lot, and I get burnt out quick if I'm not cautious, because his moves for some reason expend a lot of drive gauge. I can do one simple combo that's pretty much my go-to. I would do heavy punch, dash, I'll do heavy kick, punch, and then I'll do a commando like Tatsu or freaking DP or something. I put all that in a combo. That's 2 gauges automatically. Well, actually, depending on how I initiate it, it can be 3 gauges. And then EX Fireball is 2 gauges. And if I do that combo twice, unless I'm doing it a certain way where I walk in between frames, like there's a way for Ryu where you can get 3 dashes, 3 combo extensions out of it instead of 2 traditionally. His max combo is 2 drive rushes, 2 extensions in between the combos. But if you do it a little tricky and you step in between, you can get 3. But more of the story, his drive gauge burns really fast, and his like max combos goes up to like 8 or 7 hits, because of the fact that 1, he doesn't have a lot of hits that are continuous that you can combo into that are strings, and 2, just from his heavy attacks alone, which is most of the things that's used for optimal Ryu combos, it just eats up his drive gauge. So I mean, in comparison to a player like Rashid, who has ample amount of drive gauge, who can continuously do EX moves and combos and still have a fair amount of drive gauge, it seems, without burning himself out. You'll see Rashid go the whole match pretty much without burning himself out versus a Ryu or someone. And that's just, I think, in terms, again, I think it's character based, but it can be very hit or miss for some characters. And like I said, I think it's a good mechanic, but I also think it can be something that can take away strategy. And it can be something that could take away reaction and tactic. So the new mechanics in the game are really, really good. They're really, really strong. But I just think what they do, and what probably a lot of people don't like about them, is that they just remove that instinctive nature in fighting games. They just remove that reaction. And it makes it a lot simpler, which some people enjoy. Some people like when it's easier. Some people like when it's more simplified. But other people who've originated from this franchise, who've originated from how fighting games used to be, they play a lot differently. And they continue to play their same natural way, but it just feels different, basically. And that's okay. I don't think at the end of the day, I don't think it's hurting or killing Street Fighter. I just think it's different. And at the end of the day, I still enjoy the game. I think a lot of people enjoy the game. I just think that the viewpoints of the game are very right or left heavy. There's not a lot of neutral or in between people when it comes to the conversation of drive gauge and perfect parry and DIs. So, I mean, like I said, I think it's good. I think it's good personally. It's just different, and it just takes a lot of adjusting. But ultimately, I think it's good, and I'm enjoying Street Fighter still. And compared to other fighting games, I think it's really good. Compared to Tekken, I think it's great. And I love Tekken. Tekken, I think, is probably the best fighting game out right now. But Street Fighter still holds its own, and it's still unique. So I love it. But yeah, guys, if you guys are still enjoying Street Fighter 6, let me know what you rate the game out of 10 in the comments below. Let me know what you think on all the new mechanics. And if you're a longtime Street Fighter fan like myself, let me know what your favorite Street Fighter game is, man. So we can see like how you think it is compared to those older games, and even compared to the newer games of this generation, because a lot of the fighting games nowadays have newer mechanics and have newer ways to play, especially in Tekken. And I'm going to be touching on that soon too, because I got some gameplay for that coming up. I also want to see about starting up a little fighting server, maybe on weekends or something, between us fans and people in the comments and my subscribers. Try to get something going so that we can all get together, get in the lobby, you know, get down and see what everybody's about. You know, I see a couple people calling me out, so I'm not dodging no smoke, man. We can get some matches going. I don't care about the ranks. We can just put them up, and then we'll see how we go, man. But I appreciate y'all sticking by the videos, and I appreciate y'all checking out the content. Be sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe. I'm gonna let the rest of these matches play out, and I'll catch y'all on the next one. I hope y'all stay tuned, and I'll catch y'all soon. Peace.